simulated scenarios, assuming that you're a master and then you're fighting against a master. And this is the context that I want to introduce this experience of what it would look like and feel like if you had the tools to fight at this high level. And that's why I call it a peak mastery experience, to give you an experience of what it would feel like and look like to have these skills.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. It kind of just brings up a few quick questions. If we think about, there's Tai Chi as a martial art for fighting or defending. And then there's Tai Chi for health. And then there's, whether it's Tai Chi or maybe part of the philosophy of Tai Chi for the person as a whole. Like, what are the different aspects of these agreements? Because some of them seem very more like power pushing versus solo form. I could see where there's components of the mentality, and then there's components of physicality to it. And each of these maybe has a little bit of both. But if you look at these in the context of, I want to be a better martial artist, I want to be a better person, I want to be more capable physically in a martial scenario, and I want to have better relationships and be a happier person. And I understand those two can be the same, and that one can actually make the other.
Ideally, would you agree? Ideally,
yeah.
Right.
So what is it that this does to further that, or how would you even, does that make sense to bring them back? And
it does. Yeah, it's really been one of my main concerns. The great interest is in, what is this G power pushing? Why did Yang Chung Fu only give it to his son and not the rest of his outstanding disciples who represented him in China as Tai Chi became famous? Why would he keep this one exercise of pushing in the static press posture, which is the main power building of the Tai Chi brand, the Yang Tai Chi brand, which has been described as pushing against a wall? But there's so much fallout that could take place. And that's what I've seen happened after this was brought to the West in the 70s. I was part of that first group to get that training, experienced it at its highest level, especially when I used it in tournament fighting. But there's so much fallout, it's almost a good thing that it hasn't become more popular. And within the small groups that are doing it now, it's been relegated to an individual accomplishment like rooting or just power pushing competition. And it doesn't even approach what you're referring to here, which is the real quality of life, which is, how can this make me a better person? So what I had to do was go back to my experience with the Yang family lineage and found that on a practical level, you'll see that, as you said, some of these are more techniques and some are more like philosophies. And they're all interwoven. It's not a linear progression. There's 4 inner organs and 4 outer body regions to make up the anatomy. I had to recover this short power, which is not just pushing hands and putting out quick energy, but I use it in the sense that the Yangs did, in that it's basically the type of energy that you want to master and employ to use it in close range combat when you're entangled up with people. So it's more than just sudden strength or shaking power or in throwing someone off your body. That is what I call mid-range skills that are being mostly taught today, and that they're good. It's meeting the practitioner where they are. That's why these teachers are successful. And I'm fully behind them, supporting them in teaching the feeding energy, where one partner agrees to feed the other partner energy, which they can then use to learn how to control the forces in their body. It's mainly about sensitivity. It's about connecting. It's about learning balance and uprooting. And what Grandmaster Yang fully impressed on me was that when he learned it from his father and his uncles and all the way back to Yang Luchan, their reality was against other martial artists. So there wasn't this agreement They had to deal with whatever came with them from other styles and other methods, other types of energy, other ways of using strength. And so I bring it back home in this respect and make it real and add what I'm calling an end range techniques to add to what you're already perfecting. That is, well, how does it work in real combat when you are armed with deadly weapons? We do simulated scenarios, assuming that you're a master and then you're fighting against a master. And this is the context that I want to introduce this experience of what it would look like and feel like if you had the tools to fight at this high level. And that's why I call it a peak mastery experience, to give you an experience of what it would feel like and look like to have these skills. So that's what you'll be fed and instructed in very in-depth way, so that you know, based on my experience, how the Yangs would deal with this. And you always want to be close range. That's where Tai Chi is powerful. So let's get down this close range repertoire, but in a way where you have cooperation between partners.